Fifth Sunday of Easter. We're still in the Easter season, normally wearing white, but it's the month of May. You have to remember Mary, so that's really, really important. This gospel by the deacon, beautifully read, short, sweet, right to the point. It can't be more powerful, however. It can't be more important. Jesus is giving his last message, I want to say, because it's true, to his friends, to his brothers, to people he cares about tremendously. But it's also to his students. There's a number of teachers in this room. My favorite one's in the back. General teaching for 25 years, this year in the city of Patterson. That's teaching. Most of you know that this perceived is a second career for me, that I was a cop first for 20 years. Most of you do not know that literally at the same time, I got pushed into teaching accidentally. I'm a cop. I just finished my master's degree, was in a little town paper. I worked midnight till 8 a.m. It was Saturday Night Live, as it's called, Sunday morning. I thought, all right, I'll run to mass. I put a windbreaker over my uniform so people wouldn't realize I was a cop. I stood in the back, and I was going to do something that none of you can do. I was leaving right after communion. So I go up to communion, and he knew who I was. Oh, Officer Joe, the body of Christ, see me after Mass. Like, okay, Father Lance. Then I went, I sat down, I had to wait for everyone to leave. And at the end of Mass, he said, I need a favor. Of course, Lord, what do you need? He said, it was a hot August day. He said, our 7th and 8th grade science teacher next door at the Lady of Grace School just got a public school job, and we don't have a science teacher to start next week. I just read in the paper, you've got a Master of Science. It's in criminal justice. I don't think I can do that. No, there's 7th and 8th graders. You'll be fine. Just do it for a couple of weeks until we get a teacher. And that couple of weeks lasted for 3 years. And I absolutely fell in love with teaching. It was a great gift, and it was wonderful. As that was happening, I get promoted to sergeant. I'm put back on the desk, and the schedule changed. And I'm sitting there, and I read a teletype. Most of the world doesn't even know what that is. I know Bishop Lynn does. It was an announcement from Seton Hall University, new program for New Jersey police officers, a doctorate in education, 50% discount. I apply, I get in, police department pays for it, ergo the doctorate. And I have been teaching ever since. Teaching is truly my love, and I hope I'm a decent priest. But if I am, it's all because of that love of teaching. And that's what Jesus does today. He's doing his last lesson. But it's a really simple one. One thing, just love one another. We still haven't gotten it yet, but at least it's the idea. I want to talk about, very briefly, another last lecture. There's this tradition in academia that after a wonderful career, you go and you give a last lecture. Everything that you did in your life, all the wisdom, all the things you learned, everything that you've shared, and you tell students and fellow faculty, and it's a way of saying goodbye. It's supposed to be a very, very joyous event. So just recently, and even though it happened a number of years ago, I just learned about it. The last lecture was given at Carnegie Mellon University, 2006, by Professor Randy Poosh. And the name looked like our new pope, so it caught my eye. Ironically, Randy was born the exact same year as I was. But at 41 years old, he gets pancreatic cancer. They go through everything they can to do. He's a young dad, married a few years before, like this wonderful couple I married last year, and this couple I'm going to marry next year, has 3 young children. He is the head of the computer science department at Carnegie Mellon. And so he wants this recorded. It is packed in their largest auditorium all the faculty there, all the people that this professor has helped through his young tenure, but substantial tenure. And the lecture was the 3 dreams I had as a boy. And he goes through the 3 dreams. One was to have the biggest stuffed animals he could possibly win at the amusement park, and he collects a whole bunch of them. Literally in the middle of the lecture, some of his students bring out 2 dozen huge stuffed animals, bigger than all of us, and put them behind him. And he said, these are the ones that no longer fit in the house. First come, first serve. If you want to remember me, come and get a big stuffed animal. His second dream, he wanted not to meet, he wanted to be Captain Kirk from the Enterprise. But after he becomes a senior professor and his field changes from computer science to AI, he does a simulation of the Star Trek Enterprise, what it would look like today. William Shatner comes to see him. It was life-changing. He wanted to be, the third one was to be an NFL star. And he went through all of high school, all of college, being a great football player. He didn't join the NFL, and he thanked everyone for that, but he said, I learned so much for trying to get the dream, the discipline, being an athlete. And then, he's dying of cancer. He's got 3 to 6 months. He drops to the floor, does 10 push-ups with one hand, and I'm saying, Bishop Lynn in the military, me a cop for 20 years, I couldn't do that at the academy. And then he jumped up, and the place goes wild. He said, stay in good shape. That's what that dream is all about. And then the one that is most important. As a little boy, Disney opened up in the 1970s. He's there opening week, as I am. My parents took me, my brother, and my sister opening week at Disney. There at the same time, and when he left, his dream was, I want to be a Disney animator, that's the word. And after he graduates from Carnegie Mellon with a PhD in computer science, he flies. And his comment was on stage, and I can't say it the way he said it, it was the best FU letter I ever got from Disney in my life. And I will give 10 more. 10 years later, in the 1990s, his AI program goes wild. He's speaking at a national conference, and he's presenting. Someone in the back raises their hand, and you're supposed to introduce yourself. Hi, I'm so-and-so. I have a question about this. He said, I know your name. You're an animator at Disney. He wasn't an ad, he was the head of animation at Disney. So I think he said there were 10,000 people in this conference. He said, before I answer your question, will you have lunch with me tomorrow? I said, all right, yeah, of course I'll have lunch. And at lunch he said to this head animator, it's my lifelong dream to be there. I can't be there, but I have a sabbatical coming. I would love to come and do a collaboration with you at Disney. And the head animator said, what's a sabbatical? And a sabbatical is when you get time off to write a paper, to do something. And he said, Professor, to be honest, you're in the business of telling people things. Disney's in the business of keeping secrets so no one can figure it out. But they agree on it, and the project created Aladdin. And at the end, Disney offers him a full-time job. And he went home, thought about it, and was ready, but he said, tenured professor. He said, I can't leave what I do. Would you come back for these sabbatical things you do? And he came back over the next 10 years and did so many projects. At the end, and this is the point of the story of today. Just like all of you, huge smiles on your face, loving the story. Wow, this person did so much and is dying. He said, sometimes teachers tell stories to get you to learn and to get you to think. I had 2 other secret reasons I told this story. The first one was, it's not about dreams. It's about living your life as much as you can. And I don't want pity, even if I'm dying. This is Jesus' lesson. I'm dying tomorrow. I want you to hear me. Live your life. It still is important. And it still matters. And then he said, the second reason I am sharing this is so my three little kids will see this years from now and know who I am. But I think that's what Jesus did to all of us. Love one another as I have loved you. And never forget what that lesson is all about. God love you all. Amen.